Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to begin tonight's ceremony at this time. Tonight's ceremony is being sponsored by our Blue Gold Club, the official booster organization of John Carroll University Athletics. To offer an official welcome from the club this evening, I now invite up the Blue Gold president, a Hall of Famer from the class of 2001, Mr. Eric Byro.
Good evening. Is this on? Talk louder. Can everyone hear me down there? A little bit? A little bit? I should probably just get rid of this thing. First, I would like to say a special thanks to two people in particular that really do a lot to put this event on, Chris Wensler and Gretchen Whitebrick. This event would not, thank you, would not exist without their support. So, thank you again for doing this. Inductees, congratulations for being here. This is a fun night. It's a night that's going to go very quickly, so make sure you guys take it in and enjoy it. Spend time with your friends and family, and don't ever forget this night, and I don't think you will. Everybody, thank you for coming tonight to this event. Thank you for supporting the inductees, for being here. You're going to hear amazing stories when everyone comes up and gives their what should be 5-minute speech, but it'd be about 20 minutes. You're going to hear great stories, and I think one general theme you're going to hear in every story is their passion for athletics here, their passion for the university, the passion for their teammates and the sports that they participated in. And that word passion is something that is very important to the Blue Gold Club. It is very important to the members of the Blue Gold Club. This is a way for us as members to give back to the students, okay? It allows us to promote athletics here. It allows us to support the student athletes that participate in those programs, and it allows us to recognize their athletic achievements. That passion that we have day in and day out needs to be there, okay? There's one ultimate goal with all of the athletic programs here, and that is, how do we put up more banners in our gym? And in particular, how do we put up more banners similar to the 74 through 76 wrestling team? The passion that we have day in and day out at the Blue Gold Club allows us to try to achieve that goal, and that is the main goal. There are administrators here, there are coaches here, but they can't do it on their own, and the athletes can't do it on their own. And this is an avenue for us as members of the Blue Gold Club to provide passion and support to the university. So I ask you to think about that and remember that, and think about your own passion and how you can support athletics in whatever way that may be. So again, I'd like to congratulate the inductees for being here tonight. It's a great night. Thank you everybody for coming, and it's going to be a lot of fun, so thanks.
Okay, we're going to have the interactive portion of this evening's ceremony. At this time, if we could have all of our Hall of Fame inductees before tonight's inductees, previous year's inductees, please stand to be recognized in attendance tonight. Our Hall of Famers, everyone. You know who you are? Please stand up. It's important to illustrate that point because of all the athletes who have represented our school since John Carroll instituted an intercollegiate athletic program over 90 years ago. Only 242 individuals have been elected into the Hall of Fame. Tonight, we will add 7 more. Of all the teams who have represented our school since John Carroll instituted an intercollegiate athletic program over 90 years ago, only 8 have been elected into the Hall of Fame. Tonight, we will add 2 more. And as a last point of emphasis, it is important to underscore how deserving our inductees are by briefly explaining the selection process. Each year, the Hall of Fame Committee undertakes the task of electing a worthy induction class into the Hall of Fame. To be eligible for the Hall of Fame, a student athlete must be 10 years removed from his or her graduation, and the criteria includes impact on a program, honors and accolades, level of competition, leadership, and community involvement and citizenship. The committee, which consists of over 20 members, begins its assignment in January by compiling a list of candidates that have been assembled through online submissions by mail, and research done by the Sports Information Office. This year, more than 50 candidates were on the original first ballot. Through a series of meetings, the list of names is steadily reduced, and the names are pared down to a final list of 20, at which time the final votes are cast. And at these same meetings, Hall of Fame teams are also voted upon. So what you are witness tonight are the results of this exhausting yet worthwhile process. Our first inductee this evening. It is never easy following a legend, especially if that legend is your father, especially if that father shares the same name with you, with the exception of the middle name, especially if that legend also competed in the same sport. Nevertheless, Mark F. Hawald forged his own path and found his own success as a John Carroll wrestler. His talents led him to qualify for the NCAA Division III championships 4 times, and he became just the 5th JCU wrestler in OAC history at the time to win 4 individual league titles. The OAC opposition was no match for Hawald as he concluded his career with a 35-2 record against league opponents. And this dominance was a key part of John Carroll winning 4 consecutive OAC championships between 2002 and 2005. Hawald has a tremendous list of team accolades as well, including Outstanding Freshman Wrestler, Most Improved Wrestler, Outstanding Wrestler, Most Valuable Wrestler twice. And his crowning achievement occurred when he became the 2004 Division III All-American by placing 3rd at 177 pounds. He currently holds the record for most matches wrestled in John Carroll history with 153, and he shares the record for most victories of 122 with fellow Hall of Famer Joe Schmidt. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 2005, Mark F. Hawald.
Kid acting up his mind, so. It's an honor to be inducted into the John Carroll Hall of Fame. Being 10 years removed from my competitive career gives me an opportunity to reflect on everything that happened here, but more importantly, it gives me the opportunity to thank those who helped me along the way. I'm really proud of what I did as an athlete, and the cause of my success was simple. My entire life, I've been surrounded by outstanding people. Friends, family, everyone. So many people have mentored me, helped me, and just showed that they cared. I would love to name everyone who has made an impact on my life. Many of you are here tonight, but I just don't have enough time, and a simple thank you won't do justice to how grateful I really am. Plus, I need to focus my gratitude on 2 people, Mark and Debbie Hawald. My mom's standing. Dad, will you please stand? Dad, you were my first wrestling coach, but you started coaching me in life the day I was born. You showed me what a man is supposed to be and how to take care of a family. You taught me to aim for perfection. You taught me to push myself, physically and mentally, and you taught me to do what's right and not what's easy. Mom, you've always been the voice of reason in my life. You've praised me when I've been great, but you've also told me when I could do better. You taught me how to use my head, and you taught me how to use my heart. You're the most selfless person, and you put the needs and wants of everyone in your life in front of you. As a parent myself, I will change 1,000 dirty diapers or deal with 1,000 temper tantrums for every one time my son makes me smile. And I hope you too feel the same, because in our relationship, I take 1,000 times from you for every one time I give back. I wouldn't be up here tonight without the two of you. And saying thank you is not enough, so I'll also make a promise. I promise to be the best parent I can be to my children and model myself after you. Thank you, I love you, and you can sit down. He's already sitting down. I'm going to ask somebody else to stand up. If you ever represented John Carroll University on the mat as a wrestler or coach, can you please stand up right now? I know there's a few of you. Coach DiCarlo, you built this program from scratch and you created a legacy out of nothing. I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I had here if it wasn't for the foundation that you established. Thank you. Coach Volkman, I see you up there. Coach, you have a passion for wrestling and you have a passion for life, and that passion is contagious. And I'm very grateful to have wrestled for you and acquired some of that passion, because it certainly helped me have some success while I was here. Thank you, Coach. Excellence is an expectation. It's written on the wall in our wrestling room. It wasn't on the wall when I was competing, though, but it didn't need to be. Because of the men standing right now, I walked onto this campus knowing that I too could expect to be excellent. You guys are my heroes. You gave me a reason to wake up every morning and fight because I wanted to be you. I wanted my name etched next to yours, and I wanted to be the hero for the next generation of John Carroll wrestlers. You fought every single day. You fought to represent John Carroll. You fought to be an All-American. You fought to be a national champion. And you fought so people like me could be a part of something special. I wouldn't be up here tonight if it wasn't for all of you. And saying thank you is not enough, so I'm going to make another promise, a promise to fight. I'm going to fight every single day, just like you did, to bring a national championship to John Carroll. You guys can sit down. I have to give one more sincere thank you to John Carroll, this wrestling program, and everyone who helped me in some way, because your impact on me goes much further than just winning some wrestling matches. My success at John Carroll led to a career in coaching, and my career in coaching helped me to mentor young men. And in mentoring two young men in particular, I was able to meet their lovely sister. And she would go to wrestling matches a lot, not because she was a fan of wrestling, but because she was a fan of a wrestling coach. Cindy, could you please stand? You didn't know me when I was here at John Carroll, but I wish you did. I was focused and I was determined, and I was on a mission every single day to be great. At times it seems like I probably put wrestling ahead of you and our family, but I do it because I want to do great things for you. You are my national championship, and you are my Hall of Fame. Thank you for being my wife, and thank you for giving me a beautiful child, and for another one along the way. Saying thanks is not enough, so I'm going to make one more promise. I promise, Cindy, that I will treat our marriage like I treat wrestling. I'm going to be intense. I'm going to work hard at it. That's all, thank you. And you can sit down before our baby falls out. Thank you again, everyone. My family is the single greatest joy of my life, and it's really a result of my times here through kind of a chain of events, and I'm so grateful for that. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Softball in Northeast Ohio in the springtime can best be described as a labor of love. In other words, you really have to love the game to put up with what Mother Nature throws at you in the months of March and April, and even sometimes May. Bridget Huffi loved the sport of softball. It was evident in the way she played. A four-year letter winner, she collected plenty of accolades over the course of her career, including All-OAC second team on 2 occasions and her team's most outstanding offensive player award 3 different times. She was also the most outstanding defensive player award recipient for the Blue Streaks in her junior year and was a 2-time team captain. Huff left her mark on the John Carroll softball record as she held the record for most hits in a season and career, season RBI, season doubles, and career doubles at the time of her graduation. She was a 2-time All-Central Region second team selection that was part of the historic 2000 team that won a then school record 24 games. As a senior, she was among the top 10 Division III players nationally in most difficult to strike out and doubles per game, and she also excelled academically as she was Academic All-District 2 times and Academic All-OAC 3 times. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 2001, Bridget Huffi.
Good evening. Little did I know that roughly 30 years ago, as a little girl, playing with my older brothers in their backyard baseball pickup games would help bring me here tonight. But for that, I'm grateful. This is indeed a special day, and I feel very blessed and humbled to be here. First and foremost, I'd like to thank God for the many blessings and gifts that He's given me. I'd like to thank the 20 men and women on the selection committee that went into a room earlier this year and deemed my performance on the field worthy of this very special honor. So thank you. Back in June of 1997, when I graduated from high school, when I chose John Carroll, I chose John Carroll solely for the great education that it could offer and the great promise of a future that it could deliver. Really, playing softball for me was just an added bonus. I never once thought in the 4 years that I walked past the Hall of Fame wall of names in the atrium that one day my name would be there too. In fact, when Coach Bright called me on the phone to deliver the news, I actually thought she was calling me for a team reunion. I never once did I expect this. Looking back on my career, what I cherish most are more the relationships that I made, the players that I played with, and the teammates that I lined up beside, and the true work ethic that it instilled in me. Playing competitively my whole life has really shaped me and has made me the person that I am today. That little leather ball has taught me some of life's most enduring lessons, and I wouldn't be who I am today without the values and the determination that I learned on the field. But now, I'd like to take a moment to honor and to recognize a few people that are here today in the audience. To Karen Call, my high school softball coach and friend, who offered tremendous support to me throughout my career, I thank you. To Patty Lusick for always being in the crowd and always cheering me on and always telling me that I was right, I thank you. To Coach Whitebreck, who moved me to the hot corner of third base, even though I always wanted to play shortstop, I wouldn't be here tonight without that move, so I thank you. I'd like to thank my family, my mother and my brother Sean, and my niece Anna and my nephew Michael for their support and for being here tonight. To my mother and father-in-law for making the 8-hour trip from Wisconsin with a 2-year-old and a 3-and-a-half-year-old and not turning the car around, I thank you for your continued love and support. To my husband and best friend, I'm truly blessed to have you in my life. To my beautiful children, Isabella and Jack, my 2 precious little gifts from God, and to my niece and nephew Anna and Michael, what I want for you is to learn the lessons that I've learned. That whatever you do, give it everything that you have, and don't be content with mediocrity or just participation. Always strive to be the very best and always aim high. I thank you all for being here and for sharing this special night with me. I'm truly humbled and honored to be a member of the John Carroll Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
It is a lineman's curse to be overlooked. The glory goes to the quarterbacks, the running backs, the wide receivers, and it may be a cliche to say this, but it still needs to be said, that a team goes nowhere without its offensive line. When John Carroll had Pat Murphy as part of its offensive line, the team went places it had never been before. Murphy was not just part of that offensive line. He was an All-American offensive lineman for the historic 1989 OAC championship team that made the program's first NCAA Division III playoff appearance. He was a team captain, a 2-year starter, and 3-year letter winner during his time as a Blue Streak. He was also first-team All-Conference following the 1989 season. In 1988, his first letter-winning season, Murphy played every position on the offensive line except right tackle to earn his first letter. John Carroll was 16-4 in his 2 years as a starter, and the 1989 team rewrote the school's offensive record book in a season which the Blue Streaks were ranked among the top 25 teams in the nation in categories such as total offense and scoring offense. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 1990, Patrick Murphy.
Wow. First of all, I wanted to congratulate my fellow inductees. Just reading about them and having been around, John Carroll and Dale and Matt were here. It's just a great honor to be part of that group, and the wrestling teams too. What a great tradition. And the committee, such an important night for me. Never thought something like this would ever happen to me in my career, but it did. So thank you for that. One of the lessons I learned, John Carroll, and Coach Carl, I'm glad he's here tonight too, taught me so many things his way up. He taught the word importance, and of the many lessons he taught us as players, he talked about important. And one of the first things he talked about was family. And he exemplified the importance of family to us as players. And I'm fortunate tonight to have much of my family here tonight, and thanks for being here for me, traveling a great distance for me. That's a great thing for me. So thank you for being around the whole time with me. And my extended family too. Coach Schneikert here, one of the guys that really had an influence on me throughout my entire childhood, is here too. My two biggest fans were Mom and Dad. They traveled everywhere with me, watched every game. I have some of my players tonight that are playing, and they're going on to college and playing college football. And I told those parents how much my parents enjoyed the experience. So again, my mom is here tonight. I'm fortunate to have her tonight to see this. I love her so much for all the support she showed me throughout my entire life. Unfortunately, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and those guys that knew my dad, he would be pretty fired up about this. I know he's proud of me, but he'd probably been here early to help set up the whole place and get it ready to go. So he was a huge John Carroll supporter. So again, Coach Carroll taught us about family, and that's how important that is. And then Coach taught us about the importance of team and teammates. When I got here, Carroll's football program had slipped a little bit. And the class we came in with, the 86 guys, are here tonight. A lot of those guys are here. And he, thank goodness, came in 87 and took over the program and really turned it around and got it back to the program that we want it to be. And he talked about your teammates and your team being important. And you find yourself, you find yourself lifting harder. You find yourself practicing harder. You find yourself playing harder. And I thought I was a good football player out of high school, but I never achieved anything until I got here. And you just didn't want to look in those guys' eyes and know that you let them down. So you played harder and harder. And that's when great things started to happen for us. You sacrifice your teammates too. One of the stories, Coach Carl and Coach Skate sat me down, and they were moving from linebacker to line, and I was like, that's the craziest thing ever, but obviously it worked out pretty well. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that. But again, a great team to be on. And then Coach talked about program and this place, John Carroll. And he instilled in us that we were building something bigger than ourselves, that when we moved on from John Carroll and we looked at a program, we had to build something great. And he got it going that way. And I had the opportunity to coach a couple times at John Carroll. And now today the program is in a great place. And so being part of a program is so very important to everybody that played the game. Just like the wrestling program wants to see John Carroll wrestling program be great. Same with football. And we really love to see how great it's become. And then he talked about how important this place is, John Carroll University. And I'm so proud when someone asks me and say, where'd you graduate from? I say, John Carroll. Because it's such an important place to me. That's such a huge impact on my life. That phrase, men and women for others, is just not a phrase. It's something that John Carroll grads live every day, trying to give back to as many people as possible. So again, this place is so important to me, and to be part of the hall with some of my teammates and other great athletes is really kind of mind-blowing to me. So I want to again congratulate my fellow inductees, the teams that are represented tonight, and again, thank you again. Appreciate it.
There's a great quote that seems appropriate to say here. Life and time are the world's best teachers. Life teaches us the use of time, and time teaches us the value of life. Lindsay Meer learned a lot about both in her years spent at John Carroll. After trying her hand at swimming for Division I Purdue and finding out that her time and life were not being well spent, she took a chance on doing the same thing here at John Carroll. It worked out very well. Lindsay was a first-team All-American 3 different times in both the 2004 and 2005 seasons. She also achieved honorable mention honors on 2 different occasions as a Blue Streak swimmer. Not only was she part of the 2004 team that won the OAC title, but she set 7 school records throughout her time at John Carroll, 4 of which still stand today. Meer was named the OAC Swimmer of the Year in her only 2 years swimming for John Carroll. She earned all conference accolades 14 times and was a 10-time OAC champion. She was a perfect 6 for 6 in OAC individual finals. When Meer achieved 3rd place in the national finals of the 1650 free in 2005, it marked, and still stands, as the highest national finish by a JCU female swimmer in program history. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 2005, Lindsay Meer.
It is an honor to be here and be a part of this induction ceremony. I want to start by congratulating my fellow inductees on your many accomplishments. It is a privilege to be here and share this milestone with you. Thank you to the athletic department and the nominating committee. I know you do a lot of behind-the-scenes work for the athletes at John Carroll to make our experiences memorable. I want to thank my husband and my children. Even though we met and became a family after my swim career, they gracefully listened to my war stories. And let me tell you, the saying of the older I get, the faster I was, certainly holds true for them. When I came to John Carroll, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue swimming. I had swum at a large Division I school for the previous 2 years, where swimming went from a great part of my life to feeling more like a job. I met with the coaching staff here and decided to give it a try. It took about half a second for that fire to be ignited from within again. I was so welcomed by my teammates, who turned into my roommates and still to this day are some of my closest friends. My teammates and the coaching staff pushed me outside of my comfort zone, encouraged me when I needed it, and most importantly, made swimming fun again. My first year at John Carroll, I was getting best times for the first time in a few years and loved every minute and every aspect of being a member of the John Carroll swimming and diving teams. I would like to dedicate this honor to the 2 people who made it possible, my mom and dad. They are truly the ones who should be up here getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. I started swimming when I was 5, and I don't think my parents realized what they were getting our family into. They spent countless hours driving to and from practice, sitting and volunteering at swim meets, and buying, I can't even figure out how many pairs of goggles and caps and swimsuits. My parents never once complained about the time and the expense, but provided endless amounts of support and encouragement. And they also kicked me in the pants when I needed it. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for every opportunity you have given me to be who I am today. Thank you.
It would be difficult not to work on some reference to Dan Gable when talking wrestling when awards are being given out, but our next inductee is proof that after one has wrestled, everything else in life is easy. Dale Capros endured the hardship the sport can bring, whether it be injuries or patiently waiting one's turn to become a starter. Once given that chance, he came through with flying colors, and the experience has certainly helped him succeed beyond the mat as well. Capros was a two-time NCAA Division III All-American who was undefeated in conference matches over his final 2 seasons. Resilience was a trait that defined Capros during his years as a Blue Streak. After being a backup his freshman year and injured his sophomore year, he earned 2 letters in those final 2 years, winning 2 OAC titles at 167 pounds, and was awarded the 1993 Coaches Award in each of his final 2 seasons. He won 54 matches in his time at John Carroll, and finished off his career in style with an 8th place finish at the national tournament during his senior year, 1 year after earning All-American honors for the first time with a 7th place finish as a junior. John Carroll won the OAC title in each of his 2 years as a starter and finished in the top 12 at the Division III championships. The Blue Streaks placed 5th in 1992 and 12th in 1993. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 1993, Dale Capros.
Very much. Just in case if anybody missed that, Chris mentioned my name with Dan Gable, which is obviously, those you know Dan Gable is, that's pretty important, yeah. This is going to go on for a while, so get used to it. My wife just told me to say, be different, enjoy yourself. So I'm going to do my best to enjoy myself by making sure I thank everybody. Obviously, thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, and great congratulations to the fellow inductees. I'm truly thankful and I'm honored for this recognition. When it's happening, I don't know that you recognize it's happening, but it is certainly very enjoyable. Thank you to Chris for obviously making a career that maybe didn't seem like it was the greatest thing in the world to sound really great, but certainly enjoyed it and had a great time with a lot of great friends. Thank you to all my friends and family that are here tonight. It means a lot to me. It's obviously very important. My friends are really important to me, and my family's even more important, and without them, I wouldn't be here. Thank you to Christy, Kate, Luke, and Mason, who are down there. Hi, Luke. Yep. Obviously, there's a theme in this discussion, and I can just reiterate it like everybody else, and that is, I think behind every successful athlete are tons of great people and tons of great proof that coaches are important, and that if you rely and surround yourself on great people, whether they're friends, family, or coaches, that great things will happen for you, and great things did happen for me, and so I'm certainly very fortunate of it. Gretchen gave me some great guidance, said talk a little bit about your experience, and so I'll just talk about a couple of the things, and we're laughing about it, and today over a round of golf, we talk about the same stories because they're funny, usually involve some level of blood, sweat, and tears, and they're the experiences that shape our life. And so, for those of you in the room, my first introduction to John Carroll Wrestling was on a recruiting visit at The Rock, and I don't need to say anything more. The Florida trip, we all went to the Orange Bowl, beach runs, and then it kind of finished off with senior night, which was, experience that most of us that have wrestled here will never forget. They were some of the greatest times in our life. The power sit-up, the egg drop, and Dan single. Those were great. Dino's was, for those of you who know Dino's, it was a bunch of starved wolves walking in, and, Walt Karenbauer, if you got in Walt's way when he was getting ready to eat, you could lose a hand. That was always fun. Guys that were on the team, I wrote down Lamar Saxton in the Little Rascals hot box, trying to cut weight. I thought that was great. Joe Boehm, Andy Cole, and Doc Floyd on trips to nationals. They were just great experiences. I mean, that's what made John Carroll great and made John Carroll Wrestling great. The 1993 conference championships in Columbus, when my friends Scott and Jim and Tom and others decided to show up and find themselves into a small scuffle, and I'm not sure they ever made it to the finals or not, but they did. They were there, they attacked me. I thought it was great. Anyway, the balance of it is about great influences in my life. Tim Armelli is here tonight, my high school wrestling coach, but frankly, I don't think that any of this would be possible without. He was an amazing mentor, an amazing leader. Kerry Volkman spoke softly, but knew exactly how and when to say the right things to keep you moving. Tim Bank was a great leader, just fabulous at motivating me, and I thank him for that. My wife, for always reminding me that family comes first, and she always puts everybody else before herself, and she's amazing at that. And so thank you, honey, and thank you for being a great motivation in my life. And most importantly, obviously, to my mom and dad, if you commit, you complete. No matter what it is in life, that was their motto, and I still live by it today. My mother was an amazing motivator, as many of you can probably say the same thing. And for as long as I can remember, they've been there to support me and made massive sacrifices for me and my brother, and who's here tonight as well, and I thank them all. So I probably missed a few, but I appreciate everybody being here, and thank you very much. It's a true honor to be included in this group.
The math of running goes something like this. Running is 90% mental and the rest is physical. John Carroll University was fortunate to have someone come through its doors who could prove that the math of running was spot on. Shannon McConville has an amazing resume from her time as a Blue Streak. Her national honors include 2005 Outdoor Track and Field All-American in the 5,000 meter run, 2004 Cross Country All-American, again 2004 Outdoor Track and Field All-American in the 5,000 meter run, and 2003 Cross Country All-American. She earned an impressive 7 letters between the cross country and track and field programs at John Carroll. Her legacy as a Blue Streak athlete will carry on as she was the first women's NCAA cross country national qualifier in school history. She was also the school's first cross country All-American, and she broke 6 school records in the process. This 2-sport athlete was also the Great Lakes Runner of the Year twice, a 2004 All-Ohio individual title holder, and the 2004 and 2005 All-Ohio Outdoor Champion in the 5,000 meter run. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame, from the class of 2005, Shannon McConville-Egan.
Wow, has it really been over 10 years? When reflecting on my time here at John Carroll, I have such great memories centered around and on cross country and track and field. These are attributed to many whom I'd like to thank. First, thank you, God, for my health and abilities. Thank you, coaches Elmore Banton and Mark McClure. Coach Banton is someone whose lessons and mantras have stuck with me in running and in life that could go on and on about. A couple that come to mind are, your body can do more than your mind thinks it can, and positive mental attitude, or PMA. These are not just phrases coming from him due to his long-standing successful record as an athlete and coach. Therefore, we as a team believed in Coach Banton's philosophies. My teammates, who in turn have become lifelong friends, thank you. To name a couple here tonight, Ellie Hess and Connie Tartara, also those who could not be here, Mary Hartman, Tricia Panic. Ellie Hess is someone who pushed me constantly in practices and in races and achieved a great deal herself, and it meant so much to share this with her. I wish I could share this with her tonight, which I do. My family, including my mom and dad, my 5 siblings, my Nana, who is 88 years old, thank you. My many aunts and uncles, many of whom are here tonight, cousins, all of which who created an environment at home that no matter if I was first or last in a race, they treated me with the same unconditional love and support. My siblings, Michael, Matthew, Patrick, Bobby, and Meredith, whom I'm forever grateful for and have helped mold me into who I am, pushing me from a young age to be my best and picking me up when I'm at my worst. Finally, but certainly not least, thank you to my husband, Mike, who did not know me while I was at John Carroll, though has helped me achieve my most proud accomplishment so far, that is our son, Luke. And as my late grandmother would say, this is good pride.
Matt Warman played nose guard, nose tackle, whatever the position was called or is called. He simply was the man in the middle of the defensive line. Opponents would probably look at the depth chart each week and see that the starting nose guard for John Carroll was listed at 5'10" and weighed 215 pounds, and probably figured one of two things. There's either a typographical error or you gotta be kidding. After all, who starts a 5'10", 215-pound nose guard in the OAC where offensive linemen are much taller and weigh close to 3 bills? Well, John Carroll started that guy for 3 years, and opponents paid the price for their underestimations. Matt Warman earned his place in the John Carroll Athletic Hall of Fame with an outstanding career in which he amassed 184 tackles and played in 39 out of a possible 40 games. He was a third-team All-American and first-team All-OEC selection during the 1994 season, a year that culminated with the Blue Streaks capturing a share of the conference championship. He was also a two-time OAC Defensive Player of the Week during his career. A 4-year letter winner, Warman played on teams that won 23 of 30 games in his 3 seasons as starter, and John Carroll was a top 10 team nationally in total defense, rushing defense, and scoring defense in his senior year, when the Blue Streaks finished the season 9-1. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame, from the class of 1994, Matt Warman.
I love this university. How I arrived here is kind of an interesting story. I always planned on attending the University of Dayton. My father graduated from there, as did my sister and my three sisters and my brother, which would lend some people to believe that I would be outnumbered when we would be back home. But obviously everybody in the room knows that's not the case, because it takes about 5 Dayton grads to equal 1 John Carroll grad. I was going through the recruitment process with Dayton, went and met with the coaches, watched the game. I thought it went pretty well. Was back home, received the letter by myself, opened it up. I thought, well, here we go. This is the next stage of your life. And it turns out, since I wasn't 6'1", like the high school program said, they were not going to guarantee me a position on their team. They wanted me to walk on. So I wasn't as calm back then as I am now. And I called Coach Kelly, and I told him he made a terrible mistake. And I said, so much so that I was going to go to a school that played against him to show him what kind of mistake he made. But then, honestly, I was lost. My whole plan in life to that point actually had just blown up. At that point, my best friend, man I consider a brother, John Frazier, came to me and said, I want you to go visit John Carroll. I said, I know you, I know your personality, so this is a good fit. So we reached out to Coach DiCarlo, came in, sent the films, Coach wrote out the red carpet. The whole visit went fantastic, and we were up in the Blue Gold Room, and we were going over the schedule for the next 2 years. And sure enough, the first game was Dayton University. So I looked over at John, I said, I'm going here. First game came along, and I made the kickoff team. So I was the wedge buster in the middle. And for those of you unfamiliar with that term, it's the guy in the middle that runs down and blows up a wedge, 3, 4, 5 guys that are returning the ball. That way somebody else can come in and make the tackle. So playing at Dayton Field under the lights, the ball's kicked. I ran as fast as I've ever run in my entire life. I pulled up a beat on the 4 guys, and I hit them as hard as I possibly could. When I woke up, I actually walked off the wrong side of the field. I walked to the Dayton field. And on films, you can see the guy saying, go back to your own side. And who stood there 20 yards but Coach Kelly. And I thought, boy, I really showed him. So there are a number of people I would like to thank. First and foremost, the two people I love most in this world, my mom and dad. If it wasn't for their hard work and commitment to excellence that they installed in every one of their children, I would not have had the opportunity not to only play football, but graduate from one of the most prestigious universities in the Midwest. I was lucky enough to have one or both, usually both, at every game I played from 7th grade all the way through college. Thank you both very much. I love you. I would like to thank Coach DiCarlo. If it wasn't for Coach DiCarlo, I would have never have graduated from John Carroll University. I know that for a fact. Coach truly became my father figure, and he installed into me the discipline I needed to get through. I would like to thank Coach Reardon. I talked to him earlier. He unfortunately couldn't make it. He was my position coach for every year, the maker of All-Americans. I'd like to thank Coach Volkman. There's a lot of wrestlers in the room, a lot of football players. You all know Coach Volkman is a true warrior. He's a great man. I would like to thank Coach Keel, Coach Scaife, Coach Story, Coach Brian Cochran. Brian Cochran was actually the All-American that graduated right as I came in, and he mentored me as a freshman. Actually, I broke down films 12 months a year, in between classes. Coach DiCarlo's door was always open, so I'd go in and grab films. And one day he came out and he said, why are you watching all these old films? I said, Coach, I'm watching Brian. I said, if he was the best to play here, I said, that's what I want to be. Success breeds success. And it is also an honor to be going in with Pat Murphy. I actually, Pat Shaughnessy, Greg Roman, and I got to practice against Pat every day as freshmen. It was kind of funny. You practice against Pat Murphy, All-American, Joe Potts. If you get a chance to get by those guys, you get to try to tackle Willie Beers, the Hall of Famer. And that's only if Larry Wonky, another Hall of Famer, decided not to throw the ball. Although I will say Larry was a lot easier to tackle than Willie was. Honestly, in my career, I played against 5 quarterbacks that played in the NFL, with or against. And Larry Wonky was the best I ever faced. Lastly, I would like to thank the reason I'm standing up here, and that is the 1994 defense. It's something I get very serious about. It is arguably the best defense in the history of John Carroll, in the modern era for sure. I am now the 3rd Hall of Famer to be inducted off that squad, 5 off the team total. When we graduated, we held 31 individual or team records. Our starting defense gave up 56 points the entire season. There was a couple other points given up after, but it was after the starters were pulled. And we held those guys accountable for those points too. And we also went into Baldwin Wallace, an undefeated Baldwin Wallace, into their home turf and shut them out. And not only that, they never crossed the 50-yard line the entire game to win a piece of the OAC. Other members of that squad, Chris Anderson, Scott O'Donnell, Greg Roman, Greg Prizzo, Damon Mintz, Aaron Prusick, Matt Canning, Darren Prusick, David Caldwell, Chris Cochran, Nate Schoen, Brian Polian, Ryan Carter, Dean Lamoran, Bobby Giuliani. I humbly stand here and accept this award, but I accept it on behalf of the entire 1994 defense. Thank you very much.
Champions cast a long shadow. People remember first place, but not so much the runner-up. People know the gold medalist, but have to think a little harder about who claims silver. Tonight, we step away and out of that shadow to recognize 2 teams that more than deserve their own place in the spotlight. The 1974 and 1976 teams stand out for many reasons. Impressive dual-meet victories over a who's who of collegiate programs, an endless parade of winners and champions, tournament showings so amazing that it would seem easy to dismiss as a fabrication or an error, unless you knew these teams. Unless you knew the makeup of the individuals who comprised the team. The individuals who won national titles, who earned All-American honors in 2 different divisions. The individuals who were the most outstanding wrestlers at prestigious tournaments. The individuals who made history by doing something that no one had ever done before. And of course, the tremendous individuals who coached them. Individuals all pulling together to become 2 magnificent teams. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame the 1974 and 1976 John Carroll University wrestling teams.
This light's not good enough. I can see. Hey, who's gonna hold the light for me? Thank you. You got everybody here? Everybody? Okay. Good. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Hawald, and I wrestled for Coach DiCarlo back in the 1970s. Coach DiCarlo asked me to share his comments with you this evening. Coach, thank you for this honor to let me speak on your behalf. You'll also hear from 3 of my teammates who will share some of our comments from the 74 and 76 teams. We promise we won't take too long. I tried to get the teleprompters, but they're all tied up in Washington. Sorry about that. So I'd like to start with saying what Coach DiCarlo would say, and basically it's thank you, Blue Gold Hall of Fame Committee, for this honor. Also, congratulations to all the JCU Hall of Fame inductees. And Coach wants to thank the Jesuits for all their prayers and guidance, and for our families for their support, and our assistant coaches for their commitment in motivating our team. And really, we want to remember our team members for their determination and dedication that enabled us to become the NCAA runner-ups and the national championship. So thank you, everybody, for all of that. It was pretty awesome. And this happens to be the National Championships team's 40th anniversary. So it's a big time for John Carroll. As our wrestling team is being honored here tonight, Coach DiCarlo would also like to recognize the first woman on a man's team, Mary Beth Struby-Letts. Where is she? All right. Mary Beth was our team manager, and Meth, known as Meth, thank you for all your contribution and your help with our team. We would also like to remember the deceased, Father Henry Birkenhauer, past president, Dr. Richard Iliano, our head trainer, and Margaret Carr, also a team manager. They were always there for us. And we would also like to remember a deceased wrestler, Pete DeLuca, and legendary officials that coached or officiated many of our matches, Sandy Caggio and Iggy Russo. Iggy, yeah, remember Iggy? All right.
We love him. Yeah.
So here's just a quick little history on the NCAA and how John Carroll fits in. Back in 1974, the NCAA divided the over 350 colleges and universities that had wrestling programs into 3 divisions. Division I, large universities like Ohio State, full scholarships. Division II, partial scholarship schools like Ashland. And then John Carroll, Division III, no scholarships. We just got in with our brains. That's not a joke, that's serious. Okay. What happened, there was 30 national qualifiers in each weight class. There's 10 weight classes in each division. And then what would happen if you won the Division II or Division III, you could go on to the Division I tournament and compete against the university schools. And prior to 1974, JCU competed in the college and university division. We had team members Tom Corbel and Larry Dulé, who became John Carroll's first All-Americans. So congratulations to those guys. Are they here? Oh, jeez. All right. So Coach DiCarlo was really excited to have a group of talented athletes like he did. He knew that these guys could have wrestled Division I programs anywhere, and they wrestled for him. And he knew there was going to be some special times ahead. The outstanding work ethic for this group made them the champions that they all became. We trained hard. We had 7-day-week practices. We ran sprints. We ran stairs. Those stairs over in the gymnasium were like the key to our success, I believe. Climbing ropes all the way up. As Coach said, do 5, we'd do 10. We did drills and just had relentless effort to achieve the success we did. And the practices were sometimes more grueling than the matches that we actually competed in. There was a lot of guys that were defending conference champions. They were team captains and seniors, and they struggled to retain their starting position because of the quality of the wrestlers that we had. And many times you might not be able to compete in a competition for John Carroll because you lost a spot, but we could go in open tournaments such as the Sunshine Open, and guys like Mike Giannetti wrestled Division I national champs and All-Americans and actually beat him. So congratulations, Mike. And Coach was fortunate for the 74 through 76 years teams to have great leadership. He had great captains such as John Morbido, Tom Corbo, Mark Hawald, Mark J. Hawald, Joe Birdlone, Ken Meditz, and Jack Mulhall. And the fact is that really most of these guys are all leaders, captains, and champions. So thank you guys for being the guys you are. And Coach DiCarlo would like to last thank his outstanding coaches, Chuck Angelo and Dan Weir, for helping push our wrestlers. Coach Angelo. Coach Weir. Yes. You know, we couldn't have done it without great coaching, because if you ain't tough, you ain't nothing, right, Chuck? That's right. Exactly. Well, these were really great times to be a head coach, and Coach DiCarlo wants to thank his coaches, families, wrestlers, and fans that helped him achieve all the success he had in the 23 seasons as head wrestling coach of John Carroll University. So again, on behalf of Coach DiCarlo, I'd like to thank you for this honor. I promise you there's a couple more guys that want to say a few things, and if you want to go now, it's okay, because we're the last ones here. No, I promise you it'll be fun. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to JCU's first NCAA champion. He's the man. He started the program winning the first championship. So Joe Birdlone. There you go.
Good evening. How we doing? I think you all need to stand up. Why are you sitting there? Stand up. This is going to take a while, so evidently we're not paying attention. Please stand up. Okay, now I want you to look at the person next to you and just give him a big hug. Because what you're experiencing right now, that love you're experiencing right now, is what this team had for 3 years. Because even though wrestling, you get on the mat as an individual, It's the team result that counts. And in 3 years that we put together, that Coach DiCarlo put together with this band of ruffians that weren't really wanted anywhere else, okay? I myself didn't want to come to John Carroll, didn't know anything about it. But I thank God every day that I did. It's all about love. And that's what Jesus says too, love one another. Love God and love one another. That's what the Jesuits teach. That's what Pope Francis teaches. That's what we're all about. And that's what this team's all about. The 1974 team took a second in the NCAA Division III tournament. I was fortunate enough to be the first guy to win a national title. But that was because I was the last guy to wrestle. And from what my teammates tell me, that set the stage for what happened in the next year when we won the 75 title here at home. And I'm blessed to be a part of that. We had some outstanding individuals. We had a chemistry that was unmatched. We ate meals together. Well, they didn't eat, I did. Most parents would also join us because it wasn't just a team, it was the whole family. It was unity. We worked together for one goal. There wasn't anybody that had a selfish bone in their body. Paul Blackburn told me earlier that he came to practice every day. He was at practice every day, never stepped on a mat in a match. But people work so hard, they needed to keep putting people into practice so that they can work with one another. And that's what sharpened us all to be as tough as we were. We weren't able, not everyone out of all of these guys, there was only 10 weight classes. If you were fortunate enough to be one of those that wrestled in the weight class to represent the team, you had an army behind you. It wasn't just you stepping on the mat. It was all those people that worked with you every single day. We had great tradition. We had great leadership. People came back and practiced with us. I want to thank Eddie Floyd, especially because without Eddie's big self coming into the room and working with me, I didn't really have anybody's big self to be working with. And I also want to remember Joe Gotch. For those of you that don't know Joe Gotch, in memoriam for him, he was always the guy that used to come up to me and stick his knuckles in my neck and go, "Come on, fatty, move." So, Eddie, thank you. And what you also sense is that we had a sense of humor. And it was fun. It was always fun. I coached for 40 years in South Florida, and that's what I would always tell my kids. This is a game. Have fun playing this game. It's not a matter of whether you win or lose. It's nice to win, and you feel great about it, but it's fun. Go out and have fun, and accept the result for what it is. Mark gave me this like 2-page.
Let's blow it up.
Yeah, that's. Am I done now? No.
You're
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Well,
You're doing great.
Coach DiCarlo, we all thank you for the guidance. And as far as we're concerned,
He's the best.
Coach never lost a match to a Division III college after his first few years here at John Carroll. Most guys in our team lost less than 5 matches in their career to any PAC conference or Division III school. We usually had 7 to 10 guys in the finals at the National Catholic and PAC conference tournament. We even had 3 to 5 wrestlers competing in the finals of the NCAA tournament in 1974, 75, and 76. In 1974, we had a pretty good team. We had a great team. And one of our biggest rivals was Cleveland State. We all remember that elevator ride at Cleveland State coming up from the basement into the CSU gym. It seemed like it took forever. But then we entered that packed gymnasium with thousands of screaming fans. The place was mayhem. We wrestled one of our toughest matches, and we lost to Cleveland State 36-0. Being the heavyweight, I caught the last guy, and he was about 450 pounds. We lost many close matches that night, but nonetheless, the final score indicated a shutout, and we were pretty humiliated by our loss. That loss was a huge learning experience for us, and we all knew that it would never happen again. Our team worked even harder to close out that season by winning the conference tournament with 7 champions, 2 runners-up, and 1 third-place finished. 10 weight classes, 9 guys in the finals, 7 champions. We were blessed through our hard work to cap off the 1974 season with a second-place finish at the NCAA championships and earned 6 All-American honors. The Blue Streak 10 national qualifiers at Wilkes were Mike Giannetti, Alan Evangelista, who placed second, Mark Hawald, who placed third, Tim Pasniak, who placed third, Al Hess, Charlie Becks, who placed second, Ken Meditz, Tom Corbo, who also placed sixth, and Jack Metzger. And as I said earlier, I was fortunate enough to win an NCAA title that year. The following 2 years, in 75 and 76, we knew that the NCAA championship was well within our reach. And in 1975, we wrestled at home, on our floor, on our mats, in our gym. The entire team, not just the starters, worked together and pushed each other. That enabled us to achieve our maximum potential. All of our hard work and efforts paid off when we captured that title in 1975. It was a packed home crowd, and then in 1976, we were again runners-up. JCU's national champs competed at the Division I tournament. Back then, that's how it worked. We won 20 matches against the best wrestlers in the country and came home with 3 Division I All-American honors. Mark Hawald placed 5th, Jimmy Weir placed 6th and 4th. John Carroll placed in the top 20 over 350 colleges and universities in the Division I tourney, ahead of Cleveland State, many Big Ten, MAC, and other Division I programs. Our team accomplished what no other JCU team has ever done. They captured the ultimate collegiate crown, an NCAA championship. It took everyone, every single one of us to make it happen, not just the ones who were fortunate enough to wrestle during that tournament on that weekend. Every one of us are still friends. We do things together, we go to golf tournaments, we pick up the phone and say, hey, what's happening, how you doing? We meet for events such as this one, and as I said, we call one another on just no special occasion to find out how each other's doing. Father Niehoff said something about permanent memories earlier this evening. These are permanent memories for us. These are permanent memories for me. We will never, ever forget these feelings. So I want to thank you all, and now I want to introduce you to another NCAA champion and team captain, Jackie Mulhoff.
I'm 5'4", and would it be wrong for me just to stop here for a minute and enjoy this view? I don't get to do this very often. I'm honored to be speaking here tonight on behalf of my teammates and coaches. Thank you, John Carroll University and the Blue Gold Club, for recognizing the accomplishments of the 1974 and 1976 wrestling teams. 2 things about our team always come to my mind, even after 40 years have passed. Every year we would travel down to Florida for 2 weeks at Christmas break. It was an opportunity to work hard and spend time together, and we never missed a chance to have some fun. We would stay for a couple of days at a barracks-type facility with the other teams when competing in the Sunshine Open. There we competed with Oklahoma, Missouri, Indiana, and many other Division I schools that also stayed in those same barracks. We definitely had more fun than the wrestlers from the other schools, and it drove them crazy. One year at the second day of the Sunshine Open, I was standing next to the 118-pound wrestler from Massachusetts Maritime, and he was struggling to make the last couple ounces to make weight. And he was at the breaking point. And he looked at his coach and he was almost crying. And he said, "I hate the John Carroll guys. All they do is laugh and have fun. And they're all in the semifinals." The second thing that comes to my mind about those teams is the quality of my teammates. The guys on the team really cared about each other. Here are just 2 examples. When Kevin Hinkle was an underclassman, he approached Coach DiCarlo prior to the conference tournament to give up his varsity spot at 190 pounds to a senior, Jack Metzger. Jack was the 3-time conference champion, and Kevin wanted to give him the opportunity to become the first ever 4-time conference champion, which Jack did accomplish. I've never forgotten that gesture and Kevin's leadership in stepping up like he did. Another example is when Tom Mauer went up from his 177-pound weight class to heavyweight, which was unlimited at that time, to help the team win the National Catholic Invitational. Tom finished second in the NCIT, losing to Division I All-American wrestler and All-American football player from Notre Dame and Brown's nose guard, Bob Golick, in overtime.
Golick, St. Joseph.
So that would he scored a boatload of points, team points, just getting to the finals and helped us win the team championship. And him stepping up like that was typical of the guys on our team. Time will not allow more examples, but there are plenty more that I could share. Thank you, and now I would like to introduce NCAA champion and team captain, Mr. Jim Weir.
Thanks, Jackie. Father Neoff, Father Bicco, Father Bukala, and Father McNiff, thanks very much for sharing your time with us this evening. It's great to see all of you. You know, 1976, when we took a second in the NCAAs, it was out at Cole College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And the 9 wrestlers we took out were Nick Cipolla, Tommy Mauer, Alan Evangelista, who placed 6th, Kevin Hinkle, who placed 5th, Kenny Meditz, who placed 3rd, Brad Bowman placed 2nd, Jack Mulhall, Mark Hawald, and I placed 1st. So I'm going to cut down a little bit of my speech because I think you know, we've had a long evening. I could go on and on about the 76 team and the great times we had, but I think it's been said. And one theme that I'm seeing that's very common among all the inductees is how great John Carroll is, and you know, the foundation that we received here. So I'm just going to say a couple more things and I'll pass the mic over. You know, we're very grateful for having attended John Carroll, which in retrospect provided us with so many rich experiences and fond memories. There's no doubt that the faculty and the student body that we met and grew with during those formative years assisted us all in developing and maintaining a confident and positive attitude in our lives. That being said, we'd like to thank our Jesuit instructors for their strong spiritual, religious, and educational guidance. I truly believe we all left transformed, better people, more whole. Individually or as a team, we received more than just athletic awards. We were guided by strong principles of teamwork, community, integrity. Coach DiCarlo and Coach Angelo, you guys made a great combination. In closing, we'd like to thank Chuck and Martha Angelo for your friendship and dedicated time you gave us. Chuck, your insight into human nature and your ability to keep us relaxed and focused prior to stepping out on the mat is something not many coaches have, and we all appreciate that.
Love it, Jimmy.
Enough can't be said about this couple. Tony and Rita DiCarlo. Talk about teamwork. Thank you, Tony and Rita, for your mentoring and friendship and showing us how to build on the desire to always do and become more. Tony, thanks for believing in every one of us. That belief was the foundation of our success, and it's the main reason our two teams have returned to John Carroll this evening. Congratulations to all the inductees, and next up, I'm going to reintroduce National Champion Team Captain Mark Hawald.
Thanks, Jim. Really, this is my first time up. Last time I was talking for Coach DiCarlo. Okay, so I just want to share briefly some of the memories of our coaches and the character of our team. The wrestlers on our team were really gentlemen and champions both on and off the mat. No one was cocky or arrogant. I was fortunate to meet my wife, Debbie, hi, honey, 40 years ago at John Carroll, as most of the guys here also met their wives. Our team was full of confident yet humble men, and we truly cared about one another. And our team was truly spelled T-E-A-M, and there was no room for an I in it. One of the memories I have is traveling to Disney World during winter break, which was one of Coach DiCarlo's team building activities. And I have this song here, which my wife doesn't want me to play, but it's a small world after all. Our coaches would take a bunch of tough college wrestlers on this child's ride, and we'd be singing It's a Small World After All, and then the next day we'd be ready to compete against Division I programs like Ohio State. Oh, is it going? Oh, okay. Coach DiCarlo always made sure we stayed active in Florida. He was more than a coach, he was more like a father figure to us. He made sure we had jobs working at the Ocean Mist Bar. We worked as bouncers, not me, JoJo was a bouncer, and we were bartenders, and we all stayed active. Also, some of the wrestlers worked on some local real estate properties doing maintenance work and that. Another moment we'll never forget, which was New Year's Eve, we all got tear gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
You weren't even...
And we weren't a part of it. We were just watching. But that was what happened down there on New Year's Eve. Florida was always the catalyst for our team to finish the season strong. We used to have 2 practices a day, and Coach DiCarlo prepared us physically and mentally to wrestle head-to-head with anyone. And we looked good beating our opponents with our golden tan bodies, especially Mike Giannetti. Yes, we look good, right, Mike? And making weight was something that we tried to do to make fun. You know, how do you have fun making weight? Well, we'd go to mixers at JCU and the Ocean Mist Bar in Florida, and under our clothes, we'd have our plastic sweats on, and we'd dance away 3 or 4 pounds. I think we all did that, right? No, you were the one. That might just be
elbow room.
Okay, all right. So moving right along, one of the things on this team you really never wanted to lose, because if you lost, you might be the only one that lost that night. The fear of losing or getting tired was one of the biggest motivators that we had, and we never wanted to let our coaches down or our team down. We learned that fatigue was our friend in practice, so we'd never meet him during a match. And Coach DiCarlo and Weir and Coach Angelo would motivate and encourage us to push us to our physical limits, and they knew what buttons to push, and we followed right along. But we loved it. We could easily lose 6 to 8 pounds in a single practice, and the coaches prepared us to do battle on the mats. So it was really a great moment in John Carroll history for all the wrestlers, the coaches, the managers, staff, family, and fans. As the JCU wrestlers, these guys and our coaches won the 1975 National Championship, and we were also runner-up in 1974 and 76. Those weekends at the NCAA tournament will never be forgotten and will always be a part of JCU history and tradition. So in closing, I'd like to say congratulations to the Hall of Fame class. Good luck to my son, Coach Hawald, the new head wrestling coach here, the current JCU wrestlers, and all JCU athletes and coaches as you prepare to achieve your dreams and goals. Now, before we're done, I'd like to have Coach DiCarlo please come forward, because you can't see him back there.
Tony.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our coaches and team members, thank you again for allowing us to share this honor and memories with you. But the true and most deserving honor tonight goes to our coach, Tony DiCarlo. Coach DiCarlo, you not only shaped us in becoming great wrestlers, but true Catholic men. We learned many lessons from you, both on and off the mat, and transformed those lessons into our daily lives. We would not be the men we are today without your influence. We are the professional men, family men, leaders in our communities, schools, and churches because of your guidance. Coach DiCarlo, thank you for everything you've done, and God bless you and your family. Thank you very much. And Chris Wensler, back to you.
Another shout out to Gretchen Whitebrecht, who organized the entire dinner. A reminder that the Hall of Fame Famers will be introduced at the halftime of the John Carroll football game against Ohio Northern tomorrow afternoon. Kickoff is at 1:30. And we hope to see you there. Go Blue Streaks. Have a great night, everybody.